Welcome to Preseason Media Days here at the Collegiate Sprint Football League on the CSFL social media sites and sprintfootball.com. Today we are joined by John Evans, head coach at Mansfield University. Coach, thank you very much for taking the time to join us. How has preseason practice gone for you and the Mountaineers so far?
Well, it's been great, Doug. I mean, I've got a sign on my door right now with two numbers on it. One is 11 and one is 677. It's 11 days till Cornell comes in here and 677 days since these guys have played a football game. So it's going very well. We're pretty excited. Just glad to be back and ready to go this year.
Talk about that big name opponent coming in, a historical program in this league in Cornell, season opener, first game in 2 years for Mansfield. Just talk about how that alone has really got everybody's attention in preseason, and I'm sure has kept them focused coming up next weekend.
Well, Cornell's a very solid opponent, and we've only beat them one time in 13 years. And it happened to be last year. And I told them, don't get too comfortable because, they may have had a down year, but they're back. Cornell's always going to give you 150% of whatever they do. And we know they return some players. We know they've got some skills coming in, and it's going to be a very hard football game. It's going to be crowded. Fortunately, it's our opening day, and we'll have 3,000 to 4,000 people out here with a marching band and a real game day atmosphere. So I think for Cornell coming in, it couldn't be any better environment for both teams.
Looking at the offensive side of the ball this year, just point out some of the returnees that you have back, or maybe some newcomers, some names that we can expect to see a lot this year on the offensive side of the ball for Mansfield.
Well, we fortunately, I mean, in this league, it's hard to find offensive linemen, and we have 11 this year. Anchored by Holden Myers, who's returning at center. We've got quite a few younger guys that came in. We've actually got two freshman classes, the one that didn't play and then the ones that just came in. So we've got legitimate offensive linemen in both of those classes. Running back wise, we returned Terrence Quaker, who was one of the top rushers and return guys in the league. We've got a slew of new talent in here right now. We've got a couple of transfers. We've got some nice problems because we still don't know our rotation. We have a scrimmage tomorrow night, and right now we got 4 quarterbacks slated to get even playing time, probably 5 running backs and 8 receivers before we narrow the roster down. I mean, it's the first time we've ever had to have cuts. And we've just got some real talent everywhere. I mean, like I said, receiver wise, we're loaded in my opinion, but we got to get them the ball, and getting them the ball depends on who we pick at quarterback. We've got a couple of front runners right now, but again, 2 years ago, we had 8 quarterbacks, and I was sitting here like a king on his castle, and we ended up starting a wide receiver because the 8 quarterbacks couldn't move the team. So that's just it's in this league, you just never know. So the scrimmage, I think, will answer a lot of our questions tomorrow night, and hopefully the product we put on the field next Saturday against Cornell is going to be a good product.
It never fails, and it's regardless of the level of football. It could be high school, Pop Warner, college, pros. Early on in the season, especially that first game, the offense. Any offense is trying to find its timing issues. You see some pre-snap penalties are common, and that happens from year to year. With you guys being 2 years since you last played, have you guys tried to do anything in preseason camp to maybe, lessen maybe some, whether it's pre-snap penalties or timing issues offensively? Is there anything you guys have tried to install just to get to maybe get your offense clicking earlier, especially in the first game and early in the season?
Yeah, I have a drill that I put in. It's a 10-minute drill right after we stretch, and it's called difference makers. And mainly with the offense, it's just a cadence drill. We're just getting them off the ball, and defensively, they're working on some turnovers and just some things like being patient. And we also, about halfway through practice, I call it the no huddle drill, where we just sprint short distances, long distances, probably 20 they probably sprint 210 yards and not realizing it in 5 minutes. So it's just timing, and we go on cadence for that also. So yeah, I agree. I think the yellow linen is going to be all over the field next Saturday night for, offsides. I'm hoping not a lot of serious interference penalties or anything like that, but it's going to, as a matter for both teams. I was talking to one of the Cornell coaches last week, and they're in the same boat we're in, as far as, it's been a long time since we've played. And when we were in spring ball, we only had 30 freshmen that were brand new to the university. We didn't have any of our returners back for the spring. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to get the bugs out.
Defensively, what are we looking at for some of the top returnees on that side of the ball this year? And talk about how they've been performing so far in practice, and probably how they've, I'm sure, been aggressive. They wanted to get after it the last couple of years. Just talk about what we can see there.
We just had a meeting about that. I think we're getting a little too aggressive right now because we've got some guys banged up, but we return. In my opinion, again, I'm a defensive guy. We return, I think, the best defense in the league. We return Chase Mosier on the defensive line, who is he's a beast. He's one of the top D linemen in the league. We return Matt Robert in the middle. He led the league in tackles last year, and we brought in a corner from Southern Columbia that has never lost a football game. They're one of the top programs in the country. We called on him last night and said, how many football games have you lost in 5 years? And he said none. And how many state champions have you had? And he said 5. So it's we're pretty solid. We've got solid backups too. Again, these guys are freshmen. We're starting another veteran at corner that sat last year out due to an injury, but I think our defense is very solid. I think we're very good up front. We return all of the linebackers are back, and our secondary is new, but I do feel very experienced. The big position to fill for us was free safety with Dewan Bowie. And I firmly feel Kayan Berger, who was an all-league defensive end, has stepped up at free safety and isn't missing a beat. So I do think our defense is our stronger side of the ball, along with special teams. So I feel our defense is solid this year.
And finally, talk about special teams. You just mentioned it earlier, probably one of the stronger units on your team. Just talk about the kicking game, some of the returners that we could see this year, punt returners, kick returners. How's that side shaping up?
Well, we've got again. I'm smiling. I really am. We've got a kicker. Mansfield has never been known. I'm very superstitious, and I've never seen a kickoff here. I always turn my back, and I can tell by the crowd noise where the kickoff goes. And we've got a kid in here. He's a first team All-State kid. Kicks it through the end zone. He hit a 52-yard field goal the other night in practice. And we were last in the red zone offense as far as fourth down conversions, because we'd get inside the 30 and we'd be in the headset saying, shall we try for a field goal? And we just look at each other and just laugh. And now I think the answer is, yeah, I think we can. I think he's got the leg that can do it. We've got a legitimate punter this year, and our return, we're still working on return guys. We've got 6 or 7 very quality return guys that we're going to get each equal reps in the scrimmage and see what surfaces. But again, you return Terrence Quaker, who's got 3 or 4 returning touchdowns last year, kickoff return, a couple of punt returns. He also was our punter last year when we rugby punted, and he ran 2 rugby punts in for touchdowns. So I think our special teams are very strong this year. We've spent a lot of emphasis on them. We emphasize each day a different spec, and then we always end the day with field goals and extra points. So they're getting a lot of reps, and we're going to depth it out after the scrimmage. But yeah, I think our specs are going to be very good this year.
Coach, thank you very much for the time. We appreciate it, and best of luck this season.